is never productive. Mr. Clinton may not have learned a lesson, but the country has. He has failed in his job and is not respected by the majority of Americans as a person. Convicting him and giving him community service or something may humiliate him further, but it will not accomplish anything else. And that's the memo. Now for the top story tonight. As the world awaits the reunification of Elian Gonzalez and his father, there's another story concerning American children that few have heard about. Some kids have been kidnapped and taken to foreign countries, and the Justice Department does little about it. With us now is attorney Michael Wiles, who is also a former federal prosecutor. And, Counselor, you're telling me before the program began is 11,000 American children who have been kidnapped, mostly by one parent or the other, taken to a foreign country, and our government does nothing.
These are primarily cross-cultural relationships where people have been absconded with, taken to other countries. Parents have had to march themselves into foreign soils to no avail or help from the State Department or the Justice Department. It's a total affront, the personal attention that the Attorney General is giving right now to these parents who have had to march themselves into Muslim, into Japanese, into all kinds of courts, only to find out that they have no rights and that their elected officials back home won't assist them.
Well, when you see the Elian Gonzalez case then, although it's a little bit different because Elian Gonzalez comes here under our law, then the other kids have been taken away from us. So it is a little bit different. But what do you see? What do you think's going on here?
Well, again, it seems right now that they're not allowing this boy a day in court, that they're procedurally posturing this to deny him an opportunity, which to me shows a political effect. We have represented defectors, political diplomats, whistleblowers, nuclear scientists. Never does a case like this or those take on anything without the involvement of the Attorney General. And the fact remains that the Attorney General has a political interest by involving herself in this case.
So you believe that Ms. Reno has injected herself in this because President Clinton wanted Elian Gonzalez to be sent back to Cuba for whatever reason. We really don't know why, and that's why she's taking so much time. But to be fair to Ms. Reno, what can she possibly do if you're working on 3 cases right now. One's in Saudi Arabia, the other's in Lebanon, I guess. Right. And
we were successful in getting 3 kids back from Syria.
From Syria. All right. So what can Janet Reno do in Saudi Arabia? What can she possibly do?
Well, she can do an extraordinary amount of things. The fact is that our administration brokers for military installations for all kinds of financial means with Boeing deals on the table and everything. The fact is they have a tremendous amount of leverage to return these children onto U.S. soil. But they won't do that because the State Department has continually protected the financial interests of the United States. And unfortunately, the administration has a different agenda.
All right, but that's the State Department. You know, what can Janet Reno and the Justice Department do in Saudi Arabia?
There are laws on the books that clients of mine have been able to help Congress promulgate, that the Justice Department has to be a little more adversarial to prosecute. That is, parents that abscond with foreign children, parents who abscond with children taken to other countries and then come back to our shores need to be prosecuted.
And they're not?
They're not being prosecuted with the same vigilance that we look towards other countries and the criticism that they're giving to the Gonzalez matter. Also, people who give safe haven to child abductors overseas need to be prosecuted as well.
Sure, we can indict them here and, as we have many times before, hold a trial without them present and fine them or do whatever. We've done that to Iran.
One of my cases, Ms. Rausch, had her children taken many years ago, only to find out that relatives who had given safe haven to her husband, child abductor, had then come in for surgery in the United States. We have laws on the books now that will stop people from coming to our shores if they give a safe haven to child abductors.
Are you 100% positive the Justice Department doesn't care about this at all?
I think they care about it, but it's more of a political posturing. They write letters, they give you lists of the attorneys that you can go to. They'll conduct welfare visits where they can actually go and see the child. But, you know, these letters and memos are going from ambassadors straight to the White House. And no move is made in these countries, particularly Middle Eastern countries, without the acquiescence of the White House.
So we have 11,000, bottom line, 11,000 American kids who have been kidnapped from this country in overseas situations, and the only name that everybody watching knows is Elian Gonzalez.
And the fact remains that these kids have U.S. passports. They're just as much a citizen as you and I are, Bill.
Something wrong. Okay, Counselor, we appreciate you coming in. Thanks very much. And next, a father's rights advocate weighs in on justice for Elian. We'll have him react to the counselor as well. Also up ahead, the Ramseys say they will take lie detector tests, but will they? We'll be right back.